black trunks with brown trim. He is fighting out of Seattle, Washington, by way of the Blackfeet Indian Reservation in Montana. He weighed in at 233 pounds. His record includes 30 wins, 3 losses, with 19 wins coming by way of knockout. Introducing the first Native American to fight for the heavyweight crown. He is currently ranked the WBA number 4 heavyweight in the world. Please welcome Joe, the Boss Hipp.
Hey, 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 hey!
And his opponent across the ring is the defending heavyweight champion of the world, fighting out of the red corner, wearing white trunks with red trim, fighting out of his hometown of Atlantic City, New Jersey. He weighed in at 234 pounds. His record, 32 wins, 3 losses, with 28 wins coming by way of knockout. Tonight he is making the first defense of his title. Here is the WBA heavyweight champion of the world, known as the Atlantic City Express, Bruce Seldon. And once again, here's our referee in charge, now to give instructions, Richard Steele.
Let's clear it out, guys. Come on. Let's get out of the ring. Everybody out. Come on. Let's go, guys. Let's clear out the ring. Come on, guys.
Okay, I spoke to both fighters in the dressing room. I'm cautioning again, obey my commands at all times. In case of a knockdown, immediately turn around, go to the neutral corner, stay there until I tell you to come out. Shake hands, good luck.
All right, Jojo, let's go.
The MGM Grand Garden just about filled to capacity now. Joe Hipp, tough southpaw, durable, strong, has basically fought through pain his entire career. He's got an awkward stance. As he describes it, it's completely backwards. Bruce Seldon, compact, rugged, more focused and mature the last few years, uses a very strong, fast, purposeful jab. And he was very successful with that in the win for the vacant title over Tony Tucker. Here we go. Round 1 scheduled for 12 for the WBA Heavyweight Championship. The champion Bruce Seldon in the white with the red trim. The challenger Joe Hipp in the black trunks. And Joe Hipp entered wearing a full eagle headdress bestowed upon him by the Blackfeet tribe, honoring Joe as a chief. A very proud honor for the young man. Bruce Seldon told us he has the same game plan for Hipp that he had for Tucker, saying my left jab will work overtime. But he added, if you think I had butterflies going into that Tucker fight, well, now they're like large birds. He's nervous. And as you know, Bobby, there's a lot more pressure when you're defending a title as opposed to fighting for it.
Well, see, when you're fighting for a title, you're a top challenger. Contending for it, if you lose, you're still a top challenger that can contend. If you're a champion and you lose, you become a top contender. It's a much bigger demotion. Therefore, the added pressure.
Bobby, is it my tired old eyes, or has that guy got flab all over? Hipp.
Joe Hipp has never been a very svelte heavyweight by any means, Freddie, but he's down quite a bit from the last time. I think he's down 12 or 13 pounds. And usually you think the people that move would be tall, thin men. He's on his bicycle a little bit here, early trying to get out of the way of Bruce Seldon's jab.
He is down to 233 from 245 his last fight, but still showing the flab. The feeling is Seldon has the better movement, so Hipp needs to get inside and rough Seldon up. But Hipp, whose side-to-side movement is limited by injured knees, insists he will outbox Seldon. He plans to take the fight into the later rounds, wear Bruce down, then knock him out. He says people will be surprised at how well I can box. This was Hipp talking. He says, I know he's got a good jab, so I got to get inside.
But right now, the fight's just started, and the whole side of Hipp's face is all red and threatening, blotchy and threatening to break out into cuts. I mean, if he told us he was going to steal the jab, if he meant by that he was going to let everyone land, then he's fighting a smart fight, because Seldon is out jabbing him, and out jabbing him with a hard jab.
Seldon has an excellent jab. His trainer, Diego Rosario, and I used to box when I weighed 103 pounds. He was an excellent boxer, had a terrific jab. They have worked on that jab from the time Diego and he got together.
When you were 103 pounds?
I was 13 years old.
I never saw your baby picture. Round 1, scheduled for 12. Joe Hipp. He says, well, I'm easy to fight. I don't run.
No. He is easy to fight. The jab is finding him every time Seldon decides to pop it, and that's already swollen the eye up and the whole side of his face. Oh, look at it. I mean, looks like he's been fighting for 6 rounds here.
You know, many people say that today you just have to be a heavyweight and that this is an unlikely heavyweight championship. My manager and publicist, Gary Stromberg, said, Bobby, put the weight on. Just get in there. He said, even if you lose in a great fight, I can make you a career after. Got to be a heavyweight and in the picture.
Where the big money is. Seldon has never faced a southpaw. This is the first time.
A monstrously boring first round. Let's listen to the corners and see if it gets any better in the corners.
All right, Joe, look. You're doing good in there, okay? You got to keep that left hump a little bit, okay? When he comes to the double jab, he's going to try to throw that looping right.
Okay.
So you got to start getting ready to throw that straight left.
Okay.
Get that straight left ready to go.
Okay.
Loosen up a little bit more, okay? You're a little tight.
Okay.
Keep your hands up. If you're going inside, keep those hands up.
If you're looking good, you're hitting him easy, nice and easy from the outside.
Right.
Don't change it because you're doing good. You don't want to give him no energy. You don't know no confidence. You want to keep the same rhythm, the same steady beating on his face. Forget about the body. Keep that jab on his face. Keep working on his face. It's going to open. The time is going to come, okay? From the inside, the outside, just like that, just like you're doing.
Well, we come off a very uneventful opening round of this championship fight. Very cool, composed. Diego Rosario, who was an excellent boxer in his day, in the face of Bruce Seldon, the Atlantic City Express. The big question surrounding Seldon has been his chin ever since he was rocked by a Riddick Bowe left hook in '91. His chin has been suspect. It was a punch, I think, that you said, Bobby. It didn't look like a very big left hook, but it hurt Seldon more than it probably should have.
Well, sometimes when you get hit with a punch that's turned in properly, it doesn't look big, doesn't sound big, doesn't have that big thud, but it does become very effective and is a well-delivered shot. And left throw, Riddick Bowe is a big man and can punch.
Also, Jose Rebalda had him down, so the chin has been a question for Seldon.
Get ready, Joe. Get ready.
Well, the jab that he's popping in there is what was his game plan, and they had double end swells going on the face of Hipp in the corner, indicating, boy, those guys are already worried that this stuff is going to start swelling up his eyes, and he's not going to be able to see if the jab continues, and they're right.
And you heard Diego tell him, work from the outside, work easy, just keep peppering his face, do what you're doing, don't give him a chance, don't let him get any momentum going toward him.
Hipp, in one word, survivor. Very tough against Tommy Morrison in '92. He broke Morrison's jaw in the second round. Later in the fight, Morrison broke Hipp's cheekbone. The fight lasted 9 rounds, with Morrison winning by TKO.
Were they fighting with hammers or something?
Yeah.
That's a lot of fractures and facial fractures for a fight.
Seems that way. He generally has a meet me in the middle of the ring philosophy, talking about Joe Hipp. Little right uppercut there by Seldon halfway through the second round.
Well,
Still not much happening.
That's a meet me and jab me in the middle of the ring philosophy. Meet me and show me how hard your jab is.
Hipp's got to get under the jab, and he's got to take some chances. He's got to maybe loop a left hook. He tried there. He tried to do it. Try and loop a left hand here. Throw a right hook to the body, a la left hook for a conventional fighter.
Seldon, who has pretty good foot speed, may be wise to continue to move on Hipp using the angles. But meanwhile, it's Hipp the one who's moving around here, dancing around a little bit, trying to show people that he has movement.
You know, Bobby, it was interesting when we were talking to him. He said, I'm going to try to take the jab. I am going to take the jab away. And you asked him, how are you going to do that? And, you know, he didn't give you an answer.
Well, actually, he did to kind of give me an answer later. He said, by moving away.
No, Bobby.
You can't hit anybody by moving
No, Bobby,
away.
it wasn't an answer. It was words, but they weren't an answer.
Rhetoric.
Yeah, those were. Yeah, I'm going to move away from it right.
You know, to look at Bruce Seldon's appearance, physique-wise, he looks like a perfect specimen. If he ever fought as well as he looked, everybody would be in trouble.
Yeah, he does have a beautiful physique.
Sculpted physique, for sure. Wild miss there with a left hook try by Joe Hipp.
This kind of looks like Joe Louis versus 2-ton Tony Galento, who looked like a beer barrel when he fought him. And Joe looked great when he fought. Joe Louis looked great.
I'll tell you, though, Tony Galento had Joe Louis on the floor and ruined Lou Nova, top heavyweight way back then. Heavy and fat as he was, he could fight.
Well, Bruce Seldon looking to avoid that scenario as the bell sounds.
Another one in the bag for Bruce.
Give me the ice pack. Good job, Joe. Hold that for me, Joe.
Beautiful, Joe. Beautiful.
That's the way, baby. Joe,
moving.
exactly the same way you did that round, okay? Use a jab, Joe. Get the jab going. Set all your punches up for the jab. When he starts coming towards you, use the jab. That'll offset that straight right hand, okay?
Yeah.
And when he double jabs you, you know he's going to throw with that right hand. Let loose that straight left. Don't loop your punches. Throw straight punches. You're doing
Yeah, keep this foot on the outside. And then as you keep it on the outside, you be bop. Bop, you got to keep the same rhythm. But in close without jumping. Don't make the slip and step out. Then you got to set yourself back up. I want you to stay right there. Keep the same pace. You got to keep that same... Okay. Stay beating on him with the jab.
Let's go.
With the jab.
One round at a time, please.
Well, so far, Joe Hipp has not been able to get inside of Bruce Seldon and solve the jab. And giving credit to Bruce Seldon, he is maintaining his cool, his composure, just as he did against Tony Tucker. He's boxing well. He's fighting a smart fight. He's not going head hunting. He's continuing to use that jab.
Side to side. Give him some motion.
They want more motion and side-to-side movement from Joe Hipp.
Get the jab going, Joe.
Instructions from his corner.
Get the jab.
Hipp's not going to get it done from the outside with one wild swing shot, left hook or overhand right or any other thing that he's going to throw. He's got to get inside and take his chance with some combinations, dig to the body, and make Bruce Seldon think and work inside.
I'll tell you, the left-handed style is no factor at all for Bruce Seldon. He's just going right through it. He's just acting like this guy doesn't make a difference with his right hand and left hand. He's coming through with that jab and he's landing with it. And he's doing an amazingly good job at closing that eye.
It is his first southpaw opponent, and he sparred with 10 people. 8 of the 10 were southpaw. This is a beautiful jab by Seldon.
Great.
Well, one of these minutes, Bruce Seldon is going to decide to use the right with those double jabs and then follow it with a hook, and we may see a visible effect on Joe Hipp. He doesn't look like he's able to receive that big a blow and stand it.
Well, there you saw him make an attempt with that overhand left, but no follow-up, no right hook, no body shots, just one at a time. That's not going to work.
Not hard, not picture perfect punches, just kind of floating balloons is what he's throwing.
The last 4 or 5 years, Seldon has become more of a complete fighter. He's much more focused, more mature. He's hungrier, he's eager, and he's looking to set up that overhand right with that left jab, something we saw against Tony Tucker's last fight. He outworked and outspeeded Tony Tucker. And it looks like he's not going to have any difficulty in that area against the challenger, Joe Hipp. Good counter punch there. Left hook by Bruce Seldon that landed to the jaw of Hipp.
Certainly the comparisons are drastically different and not fair to the great one, but Muhammad Ali made an entire career with just one hand.
So did Luis Manuel Rodriguez. He could just jab you there. So did Willie Pastrana. I mean, so did Willie Pep. I mean, they're guys that can make the left hand a whole career and look great doing it. Oh, look at that little move. What was that, a basketball move, Bobby?
I think that was more of a pirouette.
That was a ballet move.
Bruce Seldon showing us a little Baryshnikov.
Yeah.
Very nice.
They should have thrilled our producer, Jay Larkin. He was in the ballet world for a while. He's married to a ballet dancer.
Ooh. And now the chase is on. Joe Hipp landing with a little right hook, but not much damage.
The chase was on, but the guy caught up and got killed. I mean, you know, the hunter got hammered.
Final seconds, round 3. It has been all Bruce Seldon, the champion, defending his WBA heavyweight title for the first time, winning it from Tony Tucker. So the arena continues to fill in here. SRO crowd at the MGM Grand Garden in Las Vegas. They had to add seats to accommodate this event. A crowd of better than 16,000. They say close to 17,000 will be on hand to witness a non-championship fight as Tyson Mania takes over. Later, Mike Tyson will take on Peter McNeely in Tyson's first fight back in over 4 years. Beautiful shot here at the MGM Grand Garden.
It certainly is packing up. You can almost sense the buzz. You can almost sense the excitement.
The celebrities, Pamela Sue Anderson and Tommy Lee on hand. I know Ferdy, a big fan of Baywatch.
You know, I'm a big fan of Tommy Lee's. Anybody can get a girl like that, I'm a fan of his. I forget the other. Yeah, there's going to be a celebrity pack.
Jim Carrey, Kelsey Grammer on hand. A celebrity studded crowd.
That's 2 big talents standing by each other.
Well,
those guys are great.
Back to the fight, round 4. An uninspiring performance thus far, but Seldon is racking up the points. Again with that shotgun jab.
See, for the average fan, when he looks at a fight like this and he sees a man built like Bruce Seldon, and on the opposite side of the coin, one that's built like Joe Hipp, he expects a blowout, he expects excitement. They expect domination, and although he's winning very, very consistently, he's not dominating.
Well, he's pitching a shutout. It's like, you know, saying you want to go to the best baseball game, see a lot of home runs, but you're seeing a no-hitter. I mean, it's not exciting, but it is something. It's a shutout here. It's like absolute zero excitement on the part of Joe Hipp. He doesn't even know how to get in and how to counteract the jab.
Well, Seldon is just too fast. Look at that, a spin move by Bruce Seldon.
Oh, Steele for the first time says that's a second spin, another one, and I'm going to dock you 4/10 of a point.
Well, it's technically illegal to turn your back on your opponent, and that's what he did, turned in a full circle twice.
That's something you don't see very often. Like you said, it's a basketball move. Now Hipp going to the body, and Seldon answering back, and then running away. That may have been the first solid punch of the fight there by Bruce Seldon.
Yeah, and the one that anyone that had any effectiveness to it, you know, like I'm mad and I'm going to try to punch you.
Bruce landed a nice 1-2, followed up with another 1-2, and then held on. He wasn't hurt. Hipp wasn't even punching, but he held on.
Midway round 4, Hipp told us that his game plan was to go to the body, get inside the jab of Bruce Seldon, make Seldon's arms tired, but he has been ineffective. Seldon just too fast for him. Able to spin away.
And the jab, you can't exaggerate enough what a jab does to you. It does to your timing. It does to your confidence. You can't get your stuff off. You keep getting hit, starts hurting. I mean, a jab is a thing of beauty as a boxing weapon.
And there it is as we speak. As he just flicks it out. It's not only a probing jab, but it's an effective, strong jab.
He's got a nice, stiff, quick jab, very snappy. Not a full-time power jab.
Oh, left hook and a countering left by Hipp, and Hipp going to the body and digging in.
Hipp staggered Seldon just briefly there. Seldon holding on a little bit now. Got a nice left-handed.
This is the best Hipp has looked. Round 4, Seldon shakes his head, says, "You're not doing anything."
But he did stun him. He did stun him. And he did hold on. There's the first big good action from Joe Hipp.
Less than 30 seconds remaining in round 4. And Joe Hipp getting the wake-up call.
Not enough to win the round, but he certainly got the champion's attention.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what they tell the champion in the corner, because he came close to getting hammered there.
Hipp just missing with that left hook as we head for the bell.
Take them out, please, Diego. Close your eyes, baby. There you
How
go.
you feel?
Good.
Okay. Well, Bruce, you feel good, right? Don't scare us like that. Come on, Bruce. You trained too hard for this. You know why you got caught? Because you're sitting in the ropes, you're going like this. I don't want to see it. That's not how we train, right?
Yeah.
How we train, Bruce?
Moving.
All right. Well, keep that same jab, pop, pop, and moving. Keep that. Come on. Now you're gonna get a little tired.
Let's take a look at from overhead. Let's take a look at Hipp's brief moment of glory. That's a punch to the back of the head. That didn't do anything. But that one was the one that caught his attention. That left hook there, however sloppy it was, did have some effect on him. Bobby.
Yeah, if you watch it really slow, he's coming in, he's leaning in, not really on balance, and just gets hit there. And okay, the shot was clean. Hipp was falling back. So was Seldon. Not as clean as it appeared when we did it at fast speed.
Round 5. Well, in the last round, Hipp making Seldon take notice, hitting him with some big shots, but Hipp's left eye is beginning to swell.
Come on, Joe, get the jab going. Hands
Well,
up.
a little pop quiz in the corner of Bruce Seldon. His trainer, Diego Rosario, says, "Bruce, how do we train?" And he goes, "Movement." Now he's just got to follow through.
I wonder if they gave him anything for a lollipop or a point on the report card. That's the right answer.
Oh, telegraphed that one.
Well, that's the point where we talked about earlier. A couple of jabs and then the right hand. He just did it then. He's starting to open up.
That wasn't even a good straight right or a good overhand right. That was kind of a slow lagging right hookish.
Yeah, like it occurred to him too late for it to land. There's the left and the right.
Now movement by Hipp, who's dancing around, backpedaling, but not throwing any punches. And that jab is easily shielded by Seldon. Seldon getting through again with his left jab.
You would think after the little bit of success that Joe Hipp had putting Seldon on the ropes, he might press him a little more, but he's not.
Yeah, might try to get offensive minded, to push him, bully him, to try to tie him up and out strengthen him, you know, to get some offense going. That's what I'm trying to say. Let's get some offense, Joe.
Little right hook there by Seldon as he was coming away. Hipp's best punch is the straight left. He has lots of power in the left hand. Oh, low blow there by Bruce Seldon.
Way south of the border.
That was a Miguel Angel Gonzalez punch.
And that was a legitimate warning.
Oh, right. A left uppercut there by Joe Hipp that snuck through.
But see, he didn't follow up. He didn't test to see what kind of damage it may have done.
He is not a good finisher, Joe Hipp. Not a bad starter. 8 of his 19 KOs in the first round, 15 in the first 3, but it has been mostly Bruce Seldon.
And you have to say he's a wonderful catcher. I don't think I've seen a guy catch as many jabs in a long, long time and still stay standing.
Come on, Joe. On your toes, Joe. On your toes. Weave, get the motion.
Bobby, do you think that a corner can tell a guy how to block a jab when it's landing that much? He doesn't even try to block it. I mean, is there any way that you can tell a guy, hey, use your hand, block it?
I'm sure you could tell him, but if he hasn't worked on it in the gym, and it's going to probably be difficult to just bring it to his attention like that.
Well, and almost similar to that Tucker fight, it looks like target practice now for Seldon. He's aiming for that eye.
Why not? I mean, he's closing it slowly, and the only way he can get tired is he can get tired of throwing a jab, because neither man are doing much fighting to get tired.
Final seconds of round number 5. Left hook by Seldon that landed to the head of Hipp as the bell sounds. Right now, let's go over to Jim Gray.
All right, thank you, Steve. I'm with Tim Allen. Yeah, you can ring the bell.
Ring the bell.
Of Home Improvement. This is your first fight. What attracted you here?
Well, I didn't want to say anything because it's big news. I'm actually here on a site survey for Walt Disney. We're buying Vegas.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, we're looking at the whole state of Nevada eventually on the western side of the country, but Disney is buying Vegas. We got ABC, Vegas, and they just purchased Guam for me.
Curiosity was too great, though, to stay away from Tyson?
Stop with the mic. Don't do this thing. Tyson, the chicken people, the chicken. There's a whole bunch of chicken here. Oh, Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson, yeah.
No, the only fight I've ever been to was my brother. The last fight I was at, I was in it. It was with my brother after school. So I came here because Showtime took my pet dog, and I don't get it back unless no, I just came to see what this is all about, and this is it's a little frightening. I mean, I saw the
worse than you and your brother.
Well, I saw Yeltsin here. I mean, who isn't at this thing?
Let's go back up to the ring. Thanks for joining us, Tim. Steve?
All right, Jim, thanks very much. As we enter round 6, both fighters rested for most of that last round, but they really haven't been all that active in the first place. Seldon has been effective with the left jab.
And the depressing fact is that it is a shutout, and that Hipp does not seem to understand that he must block the jab and he must have some offensive action.
We're just waiting for that crunching overhand right to get through by Bruce Seldon, and so is Bruce.
Even when Bruce throws that jab right, even if Hipp blocks it, he doesn't fire back. He's got to fire back.
But this awkward southpaw style of Joe Hipp is having no positive effects for him against Bruce Seldon. Seldon just walking right through Hipp here.
It would seem to me that if Seldon belabors that flabby body he's got there, he's got a gold in that territory, because this guy doesn't look like he's got a muscle through all that flab.
Well, it's heating up a little bit now. They're fighting toe-to-toe inside, head-to-head. Most of the damage still being done by the same man, champion Bruce Seldon.
Come on, work and get on there. Work.
Bruce Seldon, 32-3, 28 knockouts. He's 28 out of Atlantic City, New Jersey. His first defense of the title.
Bruce, you see him now. He's kind of leaning southpaw. Now, see him take that left hand and turn it over like a southpaw? He switches on the inside a lot, turns and switches his angles and swings his weight across his body.
Come on, work it, get out.
Why would Seldon want to get that close to let this guy punch him? Why would he do that? And when he's just bouncing jab after jab, winning easily, why would he get inside to get punished? Is he bored?
Well, Steve, I could offer up a few different opinions. One, he could be getting a little tired, although I don't think that's the case. It's early, he hasn't done a lot. 2, he may think that this is the easiest way to not get caught one of those looping shots. Or 3, he is bored.
I think 3 is a much better choice than 1 and 2.
Is this multiple choice?
Yeah. I could always pass those tests.
Look at that. Hipp going to the head. And he just stopped. And his corner is urging him to keep going. Tony Perea in the corner there, a former All-American football player.
Punching it out. Oh, go to time.
Second time. Keep him up. Come on, let's go.
A warning to Bruce Seldon from Richard Steele. Second time. Keep him up.
Hey, finally a way that Hipp can get a point.
Well, we're just halfway through the fight, and color me confused, but Hipp looks like he's really, really tired.
Worker, get out.
And he's supposed to be in the best condition of his life. That's what he told us. He's bench pressing a lot more, over 300 pounds as opposed to 135 not long ago. But you wouldn't know it. A left hook by Seldon with less than 20 seconds. Hipp coming back. Is Seldon hurt or he's just faking?
I thought he was playing myself.
I think
he's playing, and that's exactly what he's doing. When he's hurt, he's a lot worse than that.
It certainly got the crowd going. They thought Hipp had something together there. But it was playing by Seldon.
Look at me, Bruce. Close your eyes.
Listen.
There we go, Bruce. You got him now.
You got him almost quitting. You see how you hurt him?
Give me the towel,
Bruce, you got the man
Mikey.
quit. You're giving him confidence.
That's it.
Listen to me. All right, baby. Bruce, you want this title?
It's your title,
You want
not
to keep
his.
this title? Bruce, you got to fight for it. If you want this title, you got to fight for it. Listen to me, Bruce. Listen to me. You want to keep this title, you got to fight for it. You're in a fight, okay? So you keep on fighting. Don't give the guy confidence. Move. Don't
All right,
stay
let's
there
take a
doing-
replay and let's see if who was faking and who wasn't. I don't believe that Seldon was hurt at all. Hipp was hurt a little bit, but as far as Seldon is concerned, look, that was like a nothing point you catch. Playing, and trapping. Let's see what happens.
I don't know. You look at it again. Bruce Seldon lands a nice right there. He follows with a left hook. Hipp comes back with a straight left. Fairly clean. I think he got Bruce Seldon's attention a little bit, but then Bruce played, let him come in and try and load up.
Yeah, I don't think that was anywhere where you can qualify that as hurt.
Round 7. We'll see if Seldon comes out with more fury here in the 7th round. Going to the body with that right uppercut is Seldon.
Well, he's got plenty of points to spare. I mean, if he wants to get a point taken away from it, it's okay. He's way ahead, 60-54.
But don't you think, Bobby, he should be able to put this guy away? Talking about Bruce Seldon.
Well, you know, as you're looking at it, as it stacks up physically by appearances on paper, with what he has in the way of tools, you say yes, but then, you know, the intangibles come in. A man's heart and courage, the chin of Bruce Hipp, the desire to stay in there, Joe Hipp, the desire to stay in there and, you know, take your chance.
Well, he's got a lot of pride. He's a survivor. He has fought through a lot of pain. We can't take that away from Joe Hipp. His 15 sisters flew in from Browning, Montana to present him with a good luck traditional Native American headdress. His Native American name is Ekumsqui, which means fast chase, given to him by his grandfather, a proud member of the Blackfeet Reservation in Browning, Montana. But Bruce Seldon is out his way.
Got to check that. I think the Indian meaning is eat a jab.
Okay.
That's what I think his meaning is, because that's all he has done.
I'm not even going to touch that, Freddie.
Well, you can run it right there, Bobby.
And if there's any confusion out there, he is the one who told us he is from the Blackfeet as opposed to the Blackfoot Reservation. Midway past round 7, scheduled for 12. The WBA Heavyweight Championship. It has been a rather uninspiring fight as we stand by for the big one, the main event. Mike Tyson and Peter McNeely.
There you saw Bruce Seldon. He threw a jab, threw another jab, threw a right hand, ducked, but doesn't really unload with a lot of combinations. 1, 1, 2, maybe 1, 2, 3, but not really pressuring the situation, not really trying to close this out.
Bobby, we're talking about a heavyweight champion who is not taking command. He's not understood. He's a heavyweight champion. You take command of guys like this and get them out.
Left strong, left jab, followed by a right uppercut by Seldon, getting the attention of Joe Hipp, and Joe Hipp is bleeding. Heavy right, overhand right by Bruce Seldon, and that sort of wiped off the blood.
Yeah, I didn't see too much blood on this guy except on the nose a little bit.
No, I can't help but believe if Seldon puts together 4 or 5 punch combinations, 2 or 3 in a row, back to back with the right pressure, that this fight is much closer to the end.
That's what I'm saying. As we approach 20 seconds, round 6.
And he has to do that in order to impress the audience. This is a guy supposed to fight Tyson. If Tyson, everything goes well with Tyson in the next several months. Can you imagine what Tyson would do to this guy?
Yes, indeed. The winner of this fight may meet Mike Tyson down the road in March. Tyson is looking ahead to perhaps Buster Mathis Jr. after McNeely in November.
Come on, baby. All right, Joe. Listen, Joe. Gotta get those hands up, okay? Okay. Gotta get those hands up, man. You know what, Joe? He comes out fast, but he's turning at the end, so you gotta turn it on. At the end, you gotta turn it on.
Not pretty to look at.
Let the punches go. Throw straight punches. Let that left hand go.
Put some water on his head. Put some water on his head. You gotta work.
In just a matter of minutes now, Mike Tyson will finally step in the ring for the first time in over 4.5 years, and that is behind closed doors. It is the dressing room of Mike Tyson, the former heavyweight champion who wants his privacy, and he will soon be getting back into the ring after 3 years of prison and 4 years of inactivity against Peter McDougal.
Win this round, have fun.
Well, in the last round, Seldon opened a small cut in Hipp's nose. You saw the results of it. Purdy was referring to it between rounds, and landed some big straight rights. We're now to round number 8. Bruce Seldon winning every round, but unable to put the challenger away.
Well, the way they roll up those rolls and put them up the nose with adrenaline is usually when you break your nose. So it's not a cut. It's a probable broken nose. And it would figure with all the jabs he's taken, it wouldn't be hard to break a nose with the strength of a power driving jab that a heavyweight like this throws. So that's a good possibility. And Hipp is certainly used to injury.
Oh, yeah, he's had it all. An injury-plagued career, chronic knee problems, bone chips removed from both elbows, an eye orbital fracture, fractured a rib, a series of hand injuries. It just goes on and on and on. A little broken nose is going to hurt him.
No, that seems insignificant.
And certainly this southpaw style has not hurt Bruce Seldon. Usually a southpaw can be somewhat confusing, particularly if he jabs and controls the fight, but that has not been the case against the champion Seldon.
Both men have settled into a little too much of, I don't really care if I don't hit him as long as he doesn't hit me right now.
What I was feeling was a certain lack of aggressiveness. Listen, I can do this to the 12th round, and let's go home.
Tell you what, though, that straight left jab by Seldon followed by a right cross straight to the nose has to hurt.
Yeah, he's wearing out. I mean, you know, Hipp is wearing out.
Well, if you look at his face now, it's getting dark and ugly. There's a cut underneath his left eye. It's
bleeding profusely now. The cut under Hipp's left eye is bleeding profusely.
And that's what the repeated jabs will do. Macerate the tissue and just cause it to pop open. It won't be long for a doctor will be in here, and it may not be long before it stops then. Unless Hipp starts to do a lot more fighting, there's no reason to let him just get butchered.
Hipp's face an ugly mess right now. Seldon goes for the target.
Well, Bruce is staying on the outside, constantly pushing that jab into Joe Hipp's face, a la what Diego Rosario was telling him in the corner, not forcing the issue any more than he has to.
And Hipp has just never been able to follow his game plan and get on the inside of that Seldon jab all night. That left eye is ugly. Joe Hipp. A major welt. Terrible cut. His nose may be broken. It sounds like the Tucker fight now.
Yeah, beginning to sound like a report in the emergency room.
Come on, Joe. Let it go. Don't hold him. Punch your way out.
Final seconds, round 8.
Come on, Joe. Let it go. Right.
Come on, baby.
No water, no water.
Okay.
It's all right, we get it.
Come on, baby. Come on, Joey. You gotta keep those hands up.
It's not a boxing match anymore, okay? This is a fight.
Come
now
on,
go
man.
get this guy. You gotta go get him, and you gotta throw punches.
Take it to him, baby. Let those hands go, okay? Let it go, baby. Let it go, okay? Gotta give him some head movement. Don't stand in front of him. You gotta give him up and down or side to side.
You gotta get him this round.
And you gotta...
All right, let's take a look at what's doing the damage. Of course, the jab, then the hook after the jab, and then a right hand after the hook, and that is the classic combination in boxing. And of course, this is repetitive. One round after the other. Joe Hipp's face is falling apart. Bobby.
You can't eat that many jabs, Ferdy. You just keep eating them, you're gonna bust up.
Take some off. You got too much on there. Come on, you guys. Come on.
Go get him, Joey.
Dr. James Game in the corner of Joe Hipp looking on very closely, and they let it proceed. Round 9. Terrible welt and cut under the left eye of Joe Hipp. As mentioned before, his nose may be broken.
I didn't see the doctor come in. I didn't see him examine him. We were looking at him pretty close. What's happening? Now he's going to take him over to the doctor. Now let's see.
You got too much on. Come on.
Oh, they got too much of the Vaseline on underneath the left eye, so they got to take some of that off. That's Richard's. And that is a deep, ugly gash when that stuff was removed. Did you see that?
Yeah, I don't know if that was right to remove that. I don't know.
I'll tell you what, you could have put your whole finger in there.
Wow. Well, the doctor should have been in there and examined a lot closer than from the outside of the ropes. I mean,
let's not forget, the cut is under the eye. There's no danger of the blood trickling into his eye, so you don't mind a little ugliness and a couple of scars.
Well, there's a lot of ugliness. This guy's got a history of all kind of facial fractures. You got a lot to worry about, and you got a lot to examine. You can't do that from outside the ropes, Bobby. You got to get inside. You got to put your hands on the fighter.
High cheekbones there, Hipp, and his eyes are beginning to close.
You know, at this point in time, he's well beyond the point of no return. For some fighters, it's just a matter of, okay, can I finish the fight, stay on my feet for 12 rounds with the champion? But if I'm Joe Hipp, I'm throwing caution to win. I'm taking my shot here.
He's got a lot of heart as the blood gushes out of that gash once again. Hipp just keeps coming forward despite all of his problems.
Well, bravery's never been one of his problems. We don't decry his heart and his courage. It's just that simply it's a matter of one man's talent is not as big as the other.
Don't hold him. Punch to get out.
He can barely see. Joe Hipp can barely see. He's got slits for eyes. He's got a big swelling under that. It's cut. He's got a possible broken nose. He is a mess. There's nothing in his future but more jabs.
And I'll tell you right now, they're not going to accuse Bruce Seldon of having too much of the killer instinct because he's staying back, keeping to his game plan boxing, ready and willing to accept the 12-round decision. Doesn't seem to be any urgency on his part.
He is not pressing. He's jabbing beautifully, but not really swarming. And you get the feeling if he wanted to, he could just end this fight at any moment.
Well, Steve, when you figure he's got a contract with Tyson in his back pocket, I don't think he needs to take too many chances.
You think he's actually thinking about that?
No. What he's thinking about is, look, be safe, go to the end. Why go into a war with this guy? You got him beat. He doesn't have a killer instinct. Bobby's pointed that out very well, and that's exactly what we're looking at, a guy that doesn't kill.
He told us in the meeting yesterday, Seldon, that Tyson is lurking in the back of his mind. But he just wants to get out of here safe and sound right now.
Yeah, you're talking about a huge amount of money and a great chance at ring immortality if you beat Tyson. I mean, and here you got a guy you're beating to death. Why take a chance? Now the doctor should come in and look at it up close. Let's see.
Come on, get the fish. Sit down, Joe.
Come on, baby. Don't blow your nose. You got to step and punch for me now, okay? You get him going, then you let him get away. All right? Hold still. Stay on top of him, all right? Just for the time, you only got a couple of rounds. You let it all hang out.
Don't stop, Joe. Keep going, man. Gotta keep going, okay? Keep throwing that straight left. Step to your right. Step outside his left foot to your right and let the left go as hard as you're gonna let it go, man. Come on, baby.
3 and 4 at a time.
This is round 10.
He is the legs, Joe.
So far, I see no doctor inside the ring.
This is round 10. Round 10, Joe.
Below the eye. Touch no trouble below the eye.
Don't put too much on.
No, he won't. How's that? That's good.
10th round, Joe.
Come on. You hear me, Joey?
Pick that up.
Step and punch. The key is in the legs. You make this break. Stay on top of him.
Come on, second. Let's go.
Come on, guys. Come on, Joe. Come on, babe. Let's go, babe. Come on, Joe.
James Game was wearing a very bright blue-green jacket, was sort of standing on the outside, but he never really got that close.
I mean, I don't understand this. This guy was like 3 feet away from him. I mean, he's on the outside. They're giving him ring instructions. The most important thing here is medical inspection. They haven't looked at him. I can't understand that. It's 2 rounds that they really should have looked at him. He should have gotten in close. At least this time he's inside the ropes. Last time he was outside the ropes.
Round number 10, more damage being inflicted on Joe Hipp's left cheekbone in the last round by Bruce Seldon. Wicked left jab there by Seldon.
Except for the degrees of swelling and blood, you could just run a repeat of the last round and the round before that. Seldon moving, using the jab. Kind of uneventful rounds, but very effective.
I don't know how Hipp can see through those slits right now.
Well, he's got damage in both eyelids are swollen, so they're closing. Now under it, they both got not only have a swelling but a cut, which makes it even worse. So both eyes are closing in the classical manner. The only way this doctor apparently is going to get here is if Richard Steele stops the fight and has the boxer come over for the doctor to examine and decide whether he should continue or not, which is very legitimate and which Richard Steele has been known to do many times.
Steele has not taken his eyes off of the eyes of Joe Hipp. He could just barely see out of his left eye.
I'm convinced that if Bruce Seldon presses this, throws 4 or 5 combinations, multi-punch combinations, referee steps in, stops his fight, because let's face it, he's well past the point of no return. It's a shutout.
When the Vaseline on Hipp's cheek wears off, as we mentioned before, you can really see how deep the cut is, and you get the feeling if the doctor gets a close look at it between rounds 10 and 11, he's going to stop it.
Oh, I think so. Look, there it is. Richard's right. Richard's right. Steele's right. This guy can't even find a corner.
Well, you saw him wincing his eye. I think he was letting the referee know he was done.
Good move on Richard Steele's part.
Excellent.
He stops the fight.
Excellent move by Richard Steele. And if they could have been stopped that one round before, the doctor should have been a little bit more aggressive, gone in there, taking a real good look at it. That's his job. That's his obligation. And Richard Steele very wisely stepped in and prevented further damage. As far as I'm concerned, it was a shutout and a thoroughly boring fight.
Yes, as you hear the crowd reacting in uninspiring fashion, Bruce Seldon defends his title against this man, a bloody mess, Joe Hipp. Seldon raising his record to 33-3. The fight is stopped, and so he picks up his 29th knockout. Bruce Seldon successful in his first defense of the WBA heavyweight title, embracing the loser Joe Hipp. His first world title shot drops to 30-4. But Hipp getting his first real big fight experience on the undercard here of Mike Tyson's return.
Heavyweight champion of the world.
Look at that guy under the left eye of Hipp. And look at the eye.
He's got a little trip to make to the emergency room tonight. They got to sew that up. It's unfortunate, but he just had no defense, and the jab too sharp and too fast. I tell you what, I don't think that Bruce Seldon, who I really like as a fighter, covered himself with glory. He did what he had to do to win.
Well, it was not a crowd-pleasing effort by Bruce Seldon, and if he's going to fight Mike Tyson down the road, he's going to have to retool and go back to the gym and work on some new things.
Well, he couldn't get by with a lackluster performance like that with Tyson. Tyson would go right through him. If that's all he's going to do, then he better get some energy going as far as finishing and as far as aggression and as far as wanting to lay it out with a fighter. He showed none of those, and certainly without that, Tyson will eat him up.
May have to bring a couple of hammers into the ring with him. And that fight could be brewing in the near future, Seldon versus Tyson. We're set for the official time. Let's go over to our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time of 1 minute 47 seconds in round number 10. Our referee in charge, Richard Steele, stops the contest, and the winner by way of technical knockout and still WBA heavyweight champion of the world, the Atlantic City Express, Bruce Seldon.
It boggles my mind. I don't understand this. All 3 judges had Hipp winning 3 rounds. Isn't that amazing?
I want to go to one of their teaching clinics. I want to know what 3 rounds. Somebody's got to show me 3 rounds that he won. I
got to go back to kindergarten and learn how to count.
In any event, Bruce Seldon has the championship held in his first defense. Remains the WBA heavyweight title holder. Up next, it may not be a championship fight, but the eyes of the world are on our main event. And Mike Tyson is the reason why. Coming up, what you've all been waiting for, the return of Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson against Peter McNeely in a 10-round heavyweight bout. And the MGM Grand is packed and waiting in eager anticipation for the main event. So we're set once again for our new addition to the broadcast. Bobby Ches has more on the Seldon Hipp fight with the help of the telestrator. Bobby?
Okay, you watch here. Bruce Seldon again using his left hand. This left hand is the key. The jab's coming right down the middle, right down the middle. The hands, Joe Hipp, are low. When he leans and he bends over, his hands get even lower. Seldon jabs him, then hooks right on the button, right on these eyes. You watch that left hand work. It's been a picture of beauty. There's the jab, there's the hook. They're landing clean. Again, the hands of Joe Hipp are down. Now the right hand to go to the other eye. He did whatever he wanted. Everything landed. Hipp did not have any good defense and very little offense.
So that's the story. The WBA Heavyweight Championship stays with Bruce Seldon. Let's go back upstairs to Jim Hill and Sugar Ray Leonard. Jim.
All right, Steve, thank you very much. Ray, before the heavyweight bout, when I looked at you, you said, yeah, I like to watch the big fellas go at it, but you're a little disappointed in what you saw.
Well, I am, Jim. I mean, I like to see the big guys go at it, but then again, I like to see a very evenly competitive fight. This fight was rather boring. I think with the champion, Bruce Seldon, he has to show aggression to show people that he wants to fight. He laid back and he did what he had to do to win, but I still think these guys don't give enough of themselves to be effective.
A couple of months ago, you wrote an article about the heavyweight division. You criticized some fighters in the heavyweight division, and you praised others about, unifying the heavyweight division. Where would this particular fight fall into? What category would that fall into?
It's not in the same category, Jim. I mean, these guys, I mean, they did, again, Bruce Seldon did what he had to do, but it wasn't impressive. And Joe Hipp, he just was not in the same league as a Bruce Seldon. I think the heavyweight division is really in for a trashy situation. I hate to say that, but Mike Tyson hopefully will give these guys some inspiration to get in shape.
Well, Ray, we got it all coming up for you. Stay right where you are. You folks at home, you stay right where you are, because we have a couple of more heavyweights coming up in our main event when Mike Tyson returns to the ring. And we will be back with more from the MGM Grand Garden in Las Vegas, Nevada in just a moment.
King Vision and SET Pay-Per-View would like to give special thanks to America West Airlines and to our regional corporate promotion partners, Coca-Cola, Subway, Pizza Hut, Toyota, Domino's Pizza, and Target stores.
You know the name, you know the power, you know the fury. Now he's back. And he's ready to rock the ring in the boxing event of the decade. Tyson versus McNeely at the MGM Grand. Now you can be a part of this awesome event and own a piece of boxing history. Call now and order your fight merchandise commemorating the return of Mike Tyson. You can order the cap, t-shirt, or an authentic fight program. Call 1-800-33-TYSON now and your official fight merchandise will be delivered directly to your door. Make the call now, 1-800-33-TYSON. No matter who or where you are, you can experience the return of Mike Tyson. This commemorative cap, t-shirt, and fight program can be purchased separately or get all three in one spectacular knockout pack.